All right, hey y'all, the bases are loaded, baby. Woo! Boy, they are really loaded. I promise you. Hello, all of my sports friends, cousins, aunties, uncles, all the rest of the people, the whole dang family makeup. How are you guys doing? It is a beautiful day here in sunny Atlanta, Georgia, where we are right now live. And we're coming at you with The Bases Are Loaded, where we do things on a 3U basis. We cover all the bases in sports, but we do it on a 3U basis. That's right. That's unrelenting, unapologetic, and undeniable, and not necessarily in that order. I am your host, LA. I am so glad to be able to come to you on this week of all types of sports excitement. But right now, I want to give just a somber moment. I want to give a shout out to all the people in the DMV, in the Baltimore area, definitely that was affected by the wow, that was really, really dismal to see. Imagine being on a bridge and seeing a tramp steamer coming at you and can't stop it. And that's exactly what happened. We were praying for the people of Baltimore. Mike Lowry, that's your hometown. I'm praying for your folks, man, your peeps. I hope everybody is going to get the semblance of understanding and get that investigation going. And hopefully, by some miraculous reason, we do find some of those people that are missing right now. But if not, that's okay. Get in a better place there with the Father. And we're praying for you guys right now. All right. And with that said, here we go. Oh, one shining moment on the road to the Final Four. That's right, folks. It is underway. And I know you guys have been with your brackets. How many of you, I'm raising my hand, both hands, you see all, and well, 10 fingers too. How many of your brackets were broken up the very first day? Wow. Nobody's claiming that billion yet, I don't think. Like I said, it's don't forget, Warren Buffett is still putting it out there, $1 billion for a perfect bracket. And I don't think he's in lieu of, or he's in any type of jeopardy of actually losing that money. Because, boy, teams are emerging, teams are just merging. They're getting put out at unrelenting fashion, okay? But right now we're down to the Sweet 16. Yeah. Yes, sir. The Sweet 16 is underway tomorrow, starting out. Let me tell you who's on the dockets and the brackets and getting ready to do a little bit of dancing. I guess it's a little bit better dance, huh, Mike Lowry? A little bit better dance when you can get the girl you really wanted to dance with and have her twirling around in front of everybody. That's what they're getting ready to do right now, starting out at 7:09 tomorrow, Thursday. That's right. And folks, check your local listings. Like I said to you before, you can catch the games on TNT, CBS, as well as True TV. And those games are simulcast, and they are really easy to actually watch and download them. They made it easy for you guys. You can download it on your mobile device, okay? And you can just go to marchmadness.com. It'll bring up the games and all the times and the local listings. That way you won't miss anything, especially if you, like me, you travel a little bit and you want to actually keep up with what's going on, okay? First game started out just slated. It's going to be number 6, Clemson at Arizona. Now, yes, I'm going to give you my picks as we go. Remember what I said. Do not, and I've said this repeatedly, and I'll keep saying it, and I'm going to keep doing it, and because guess what? I know I'm saying it because I'm there when I'm saying it. If you do not put me on your stick, if you don't pick what I pick, okay? Don't be mad at me, all right? But guess what? I'm here to advise you as to what I feel. And guess what? Sometimes I don't feel so good. And sometimes I feel great. That's right, baby. Mike D, look alive. Clemson, ACC representing, okay? I'm picking Clemson over Arizona tomorrow. That's going to be a really good game. It's number 2. Arizona's number 2, but I tell you, Clemson is playing pretty good ball right now. At 7:39 is going to be San Diego State against UConn. That's my final pick, folks. I'm still sticking with those guys. I'm not going to change it just because some of the folks have fallen out of the brackets already. I'm picking UConn to beat San Diego State and go, of course, to the Elite Eight, folks. That's the Elite Eight. For those of you who don't know, that's the 8 teams that are out of the realm of the 68 teams. We'll be down at number 8. All right, right behind those guys at 9:39 2 hours later, slated is the number 4 team, Alabama, against number 1, UNC. All right, they've got that young man is going to probably try. He's a 5th-year senior, and he's going to keep them going. I'm going to pick UNC to go ahead and win this game as well. And following those guys right after is going to be probably Illinois, and then number 3, and number 2, Iowa State. I'm picking Iowa State to upset. Not really upset, but I picked them to, of course, win over Illinois. All right, we'll see how that goes. All right, following the next day is going to be Friday, of course. Friday at 7:09. I don't know what's with the 9s, folks. Maybe that's got something to do with television broadcasting and the times. My producer probably could tell you that better than me. But right now, NC State, those Wolfpack, those guys are doing really, really well. They haven't been in there since Jim Valvano. Hey, guess what? Cancer. He started a whole realm of cancer research as well as appendages to help people with to fight this deadly disease. And that's the reason why the Wolfpack will always forever be, even though we're in the ACC, we're rivals, I think of Jim Valvano and, of course, his mantra and, of course, his statement of never giving up, no ever give up. And that's what those Wolfpack are doing right now. I'm picking them over Marquette. That's right, Marquette. That's right, Mr. Gabrielle Union's husband. I said it. I know that's your alma mater. I'm picking NC State over you guys. They're they're getting on the way at 7:09 tomorrow. All right, not tomorrow, but Friday evening. Right after those guys, going to be at 7:39. It's going to be Gonzaga, number 5, against number 1 Purdue. I'm picking Purdue. Jack Edey is playing lights out right now. He's big, he's tall, and he's on a mission because they were knocked out a little early last year in the tournament. So they've got an axe to grind. So we'll be looking out for them. I'm picking Purdue. Remember what I told you about that stick? Don't put me on your stick. All right, here right after those guys at 9:39 is going to be Duke. Them Dukies, number 4. They will be playing Houston. That is a formidable game. That game is going to be well played by the big men along with the guard play. Okay, so I'm thinking that those Houston Cougars. I know some of you, I won't even say that today, but Houston, I'm picking those guys to go ahead and take, of course, those guys from Philipposki and all those Duke fans to your dismay. Yeah, that's right. I said it. I'm in the ACC. Ayo, Seminoles all the way. FSU, baby. You see the hat. Don't trip. You see the hat. Don't pat. All right. And following that last game for the night and getting it all slated out is going to be number 3 Creighton against number 2 Tennessee. Now, that game was hard for me to pick because those two teams are evenly matched. So it's going to come down to the center play if you guys are looking at it and watching. But I'm picking Tennessee to eat that win out, okay? All right, next on the slate, guess what? We didn't forget. No, we cannot, because this is a man's world, but it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl, okay? I just told one of my friends over here that was actually had me corrected about calling you women girls, okay? So we're going to do this correctly today. We're going to be politically correct and say the women, okay? The women. Hey, they got some really... Matter of fact, write me, text me, send me, tell me, what do you think? Who is more exciting right now? The women's Sweet 16 or the men's? I can't believe I'm actually saying that. And I'm not being chauvinistic. Shaquila, I'm saying that to you. I know. I can't believe it. Derica, what's up? You need to be watching some of these games. Get yourself out of those books all the time. Man, those students and get a little underway and get some relaxation. Watch the women play basketball. They look great with, of course, starting out. And of course, we don't have Caitlin Clark. What can we say, folks? Is that a dream season she's having? She scored the most points. She scored 1,000 points 2 times in her career. She's actually leaving school early. And just let me know which one of these guys, which one do you actually think is getting the most notoriety, getting the most viewership along with the ones that's more exciting? I think it's the women because it's getting ready to really, really go down. Okay, it's going down in the DM, and I mean the DM for real. Because Notre Dame, number 2, is playing Oregon State at 2:30 on ESPN. Most of these games, folks, are going to be on ESPN. Okay, so if you don't have that Of course, if you're not streaming it or if you don't have it on radio and cable, you can always, like I said, you can always download that March Madness app, and it will allow you to watch these games. They were very kind to you this year. Notre Dame is playing number 3 Oregon State at 2:30. And all these games are slated to be on Friday as well. Okay, so you'll be competing a little bit with the men. So that's the reason why I'm saying to you, which one are you probably more inclined to watch? Okay, number 1 South Carolina. Hey, Dawn Staley, what can you say? 2 seasons, she's already doing it. She's actually gone 1 season, never losing a game, undefeated. Okay, and maybe I should throw undefeated in some of my 3U bases. To my producer, I might need to do that, Rod. You know, hey, it's undefeated is amongst us again. Dawn Staley is doing her thing. Okay, she's right now 33-0, and she's going up against Indiana number 4. I don't see a problem here, folks. I'm picking, like I told you, don't get mad at me. Don't put me on your stick, ladies. I'm talking about you too. Don't put me on your stick if you don't get my pick, and my pick is not what your pick is picked. That's all right, but guess what? Stanford, right after those guys, they're coming on at 5. Actually, they're playing at 5 o'clock. No, 7:30. Excuse me. Number 2 Stanford and number 3 NC State. NC State, and that's something, boy. When you got both your women's and your men's teams in the Sweet 16, that means your school is doing something really good. That AD is really, really happy. Okay, and that NIL money is not hurting either, is it, folks? Especially you students who are getting paid to play now. And you should have been. I argued that point many years. I should have just did it when I was playing. Anyway, number 1 Texas is going up against Gonzaga at 10 p.m. Like I said, that's happening on Friday. On Saturdays, ending up the rest of the 8, it's going to be number 3 LSU. Woo! Got to give it to Angel Reese. She is playing lights out after the little debacle. Her and her coach, Kim Mulkey, they are right back at it again. We're looking forward to the matchup between them and Iowa State. I think it's going to happen, folks. And if it does, I promise you, no one will be watching the men's game that day if that game is on. I can assure you, because that's going to be the rematch of the tourney championship last year. And of course, we'll see how that transfers. If they're playing UCLA, which is a formidable team, and that's at 1 o'clock on ABC. You can take your local listings for that as well. Iowa's coming out right behind those guys at 3:30. They're playing Colorado, number 3. Number 1, Southern California, USC. Juju! Give it up. Juju. Wow. Perennial all-star. She's a generational talent. Guys, we're going to be talking about Juju. And we're not talking about Juju Smith-Schuster. We're talking about Juju, the woman basketball player of USC. She is awesome, and she's fun to watch. She plays both sides of that court. She's a two-way player, folks, both defense and offense. So she's definitely something to keep your eye on, especially that Caitlin Clark is getting ready to go into the WNBA. All right. They're going to be playing Baylor, number 5, at 5:30. And the last game ending it up, UConn. What can you say? Kate Beckers. Whoo! Wow. Okay. Just imagine, folks, tearing both your ACLs and she came back. Wow. Talk about comeback player of the year. I know she's going to get that award. That'll be the last game slated that day. And that they'll be going up against, of course, Duke. Okay. Carol Larson. Carol Larson said something, and I got to mention it. I've got to say it. I will never forget that. She actually just had a simple situation where she had a player, folks. And I know you guys have seen it. If you've seen it on television, it went global, what she actually said. And it's been a blessing to me just hearing it. And I know it's going to bless you. And I'm going to repeat it here. Carol Larson played Tennessee. Of course, with Dawn Staley herself. They're both now coaches. Of course, Dawn Staley's with the South Carolina Gamecocks, and she is with the Duke Blue Devils. Carol Larson was simply wanting to have a little message to one of her players that was starting to slack off a little bit, and she thought that it was going to get easy. So Cara, she decided to just come up with this little statement, and she felt like she needed to tell her entire team, and she didn't know, unbeknownst to her, that one of her players was actually recording her, and it went viral. Because this is the statement she said. She said, if you're expecting life to get easier, stop. It doesn't get easier. Life gets harder. You just have to learn how to deal with harder better. Whew. Mic drop. let the church say amen, get the collection plate. We ain't even got to have communion. Sustain, folks. Deal with life. Dealing with life, it gets hard. You just have to learn how to deal with life and deal with harder, better. Wow. That's one for the ages, all right? Just had to bring that up. And with that said, hey, we're going to go to these guys right here. Hey, are you liking The Bases Are Loaded? Do me a favor. Hit that like and subscribe button and tell some more people about me. It keeps me coming and keeps you happy and keeps me smiling. Thank you. Woo, woo. Well, folks, what's going on in the NBA? My Knicks. Stephen A, baby. We here, baby. Brooklyn in the house. You Queens in the house. Hey, guess what? I'm always Knicks fan. That is one of my emails. Knicks fan, always. Now, I am not always happy about that. But guess what? Since the inception of Jalen Brunson, named after, yes, Jalen Rose. Jalen, I know you're proud of that. Anytime somebody says your name, and because we know for your fact that your mom made the name up, and women all throughout the United States and abroad has adopted that name, Jalen. Well, Jalen Brunson is keeping it alive, baby, because he is playing lights out. My Knicks came back the other night, down about 15. But speaking of coming back, wow, what is going on with these comeback teams? The Atlanta Hawks, woo-hoo, without Trae Young, baby, without Trae. Atlanta, you guys understand? You might have something to be a little proud of. I don't know how's the Hawk. Caw-caw. Well, was that the Eagle? I don't know. To me, they sound like little pigeons. I don't know where they came up with that. Maybe that was Kevin Hart that came up with that. But the Hawks came back down. Guess who? The Boston Celtics. They were down by 30-something points at one time. Not only came back, they came back and won. So did the Lakers the other night, just last night. The Lakers without LeBron. They were down. I got disgusted because I love the Lakers. But I got disgusted watching the game. I'm like, you know what? These guys are not going to be talking about a play-in tournament. That play-in tournament, who cares? They won that in-conference thing. And that, are you going to settle for that? I'm like, come on, guys. Come on. LeBron plays hard. Give him a shot, even though he wasn't playing. I turned the television off. Only to my chagrin, I turned on ESPN. And I'm looking up there, and I'm like, my mouth was dropping because I had to turn over to TNT to watch Charles. Well, Charles wasn't there. Charles was, of course, doing the Capital One. They're totally indoctrinated into the NCAA tournament. But I was turning on TNT to see, and they were talking about this remarkable comeback, double overtime. Austin Reeves, 2 dings for you, bro. Way to go. He's keeping these guys not only in the game, he's keeping them in the season without LeBron from time to time. He's playing lights out, shooting those threes and making just great heads-up defensive plays. Of course, would you believe AD gets a ring. AD actually played the whole game after tweaking something with his knee. And y'all know if you touch AD turns into... I'll let you figure out what that A and D stands for. But anyway, he goes and to the sideline and goes home. But he stayed in that game, and not only did he stay in the game, he produced. He produced blocks. He was 24, I think 30 from the outside the line and inside the court. He was playing like a big man last night when we both know he is a power forward. And they willed those guys to a double overtime win against the Milwaukee Bucks. The Greek Freak, what's up? Boy, I don't know. Give me a holler. Send me a text. Send me a message. Just send me a pigeon. Is Doc Rivers, is he a team jinxer? Because Doc is a great, great coach, man. He's a great motivator. He's a good person for all sense of purposes. I don't know him personally, but everything I've heard and everything, and we never had heard any scandals or anything about him. He's a great father. You see his son, Austin, what's up with this, with him coaching, coming to teams? Because the Milwaukee Bucks were doing pretty good. As a matter of fact, at one time they were number 1 in the East. But as of late, they've been, especially after the All-Star break and when he came in, they've been losing some games they shouldn't have lost. So give me a comment. Let me hear what you're saying about it. You think Doc is docked? Okay, for lack of a better word. Just let me know, guys. Hey. But the basketball right now is really getting to the point to where we are, we've got both NCAA and the NBA getting ready to kick it off because the playoffs will be underway very, very soon. So we'll be looking for that. You look at your teams, they have the first 9 are in. Then, of course, they have the play-in tournament. So we'll see how that goes. Tell me what you think about that play-in tournament, too. They're talking about doing that with the NCAA tourney as well, giving some of those guys as opposed to the NIT, which I used to think this stood for not invited to the tournament. Somebody said it's the National Invitation Tournament, but in retrospect, in layman's terms, that's what it means, okay? But we'll see how that goes and how that plays off as well. All right, we're going to switch things up here. We're going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to talk about Major League Baseball, baby. That's right, the big leagues. Big leagues start tomorrow. Opening day. Past time for America, right? Nah, I think football is taking over. What do you folks think? Let me know in the comments. Send me a message. Let me know if you think that football is now America's pastime. And it's now America's really big sport, as opposed to the world sport, which we know is soccer, which they call it football. And let me know what you think about that. But Major League is starting tomorrow, but it's not starting without some controversy. And we're going to talk about some of this controversy here in just a minute. Right now, all eyes are on Shohei Ohtani. Hey, what you doing, bruh? Okay? I don't know about you, Rod, Mike Lowry. Who do you trust to give your fortune to? Just because he's actually your interpreter? But from all intents and purposes, now that Mr. Shohei Ohtani has been sanctioned right now, the Major League Baseball is looking into him. Of course, as you guys well know, Shohei Ohtani, for those of you who don't know, I'm here to inform you because we cover the bases over here, Unrelenting, Unapologetic, and of course, Undeniable. The man is the highest paid, pretty much sports figure in history, $743 million. The more he's paid so much money, folks, he decided to take a pay cut to come and play for of course, the LA Dodgers, so they could help get some other team players on the team to make them a formidable shoe-in for the postseason. So with that said, he's got an interpreter because he's Japanese. Japanese player, an interpreter, is now responsible for him missing $4.3 million. Watch this, folks. I know some folks be pissed off about 40. Not even 40. Wait a minute, not 40. I can't even get it out. $4,000. If you took from me and I can't account for it, bruh, we having a conversation soon. $4.3 million was found missing from his account. And guess where it went? It went to the interpreter's gambling debts. Please let me know what you think about that. Let me know. I call percent. What do you folks think? Okay. Pete Rose is somewhere right now. As a matter of fact, I've seen some memes, Mike Lowry, with Pete Rose standing there like this with that same interpreter going, hey, I should have got me an interpreter. Okay? He's not in the Hall of Fame because of this, folks. One of the greatest baseball players in history. He's not in the Hall of Fame because of gambling, which is now, I think, is really unfair. That's another conversation for controversy. Folks, let me know what you think about that. Should Pete Rose, because now it is legal gambling in in major sports now, let me know if you think that it is totally unfair that they're keeping him completely out of the Hall of Fame simply because he bet. And he didn't bet against his team, bet for his team. That's not fair. He's betting for his team, okay? Let me know in the comments what you think about that. Because Shohei, you better come up and say, hey, because this thing is starting to not look good. I don't give a dang what language you speak, bruh. Gambling can get you in a lot of trouble, and it seems like you are right there teetering with the big T. And I mean T of trouble, bro. Okay? You better get it together, because you are not only will you not be able to enjoy that $700 million, you'll be banned from baseball. Because I can tell you right now, that commissioner, he's not playing. No, sir. Not with all that stuff that's happening with the scandals with gambling now. And now, speaking of another gambling situation, there's a young man that's from Porter. Okay, I'm not going to switch the hats back to the NBA, but these folks, we're talking about the same stuff. Let me know what you think about that, okay? This gambling in sports. Do you think it's going to get it corrupt? How can it not? It's a corruptible organization that has always been synonymous with what? Guess what? Ill-gotten deeds. How many people have gotten everything lost because of gambling? And now they made it. Hey, I don't know if you're old enough to remember, there was oh my goodness, one of the best movies. I love it. Bruce Willis, Damon Wayans played in a movie called The Last Boy Scout. What was it about? The first scene in the movie was the guy who would become very, very famous named Billy Blanks. Billy Blanks is sitting there and he's on the football field and they make a call to him. They make a phone call to him. He puts the phone down. He gets the ball back in the game and he is running down the field. And every time one person came to tackle him, do you know what he did, folks? He took out a gun and he shot them. Shot 4 people running to the doggone end zone to score a touchdown. And when he got to the end zone, he turned and he kneeled down and he took the gun and he blew his brains out. All because of gambling. With apostrophe. Okay? Gambling is no joke, folks. Make sure that you play responsibly. You drink responsibly. Oh, we're going to talk about drinking too. Okay? Speaking of, wow. Well, you know what? We'll save that for another day. All right, folks. Right now, we're going to, get to the point to where I don't know. You folks tell me. Dun, 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 dun. The National Football League. Football. What in tarnation, hemoglobin, estrogen, cholinesterase, any other kind of chemical that you can think of that surpasses your actual axons and dendrites and synapses. Yes, I studied biology, and I didn't do it that well, okay? But I do remember something because I had a really, really good teacher. That's nothing better than that, folks, other than your parents having a great teacher, because I still remember this stuff almost 40 years later. But what is going on in the minds of these NFL players and the association and the league with all of these new rules? I don't know about you folks. Drop me a line. I'm going to go over some of this. I'm going to attempt to clear some of this stuff up for you folks because I know it's confusing. And it doesn't matter what gender you are. As a matter of fact, I saw a young lady the other day that broke it down. She broke it down tremendously about these new rules that are actually coming. And I do mean a woman. Okay? Is that right? I said it right. A woman. A woman broke it down. Okay? Folks, there are new rules that are in the National Football League. We're not going to even start talking about any of the stuff that's coming out in the offseason. We're going to talk about these new rules. We've got 2 so far, thus far. Well, first, we'll talk about the one that's not as perennial right now. Can't believe I'm saying this. Tackling again. Yes, in an effort to stop some of the play of these guys suffering ACL tears, hip flexors, as well as being pulled down from behind. They now are going to have to learn how to tackle players now that are running the ball. No longer Are you allowed? Well, I'm going to say this year. I'm going to say it this way because the one thing about the National Football League that I've learned, and I've definitely been privy to it, folks, is that nothing ever stays the same. You can always expect the unexpected and then it not to be congruent, nor that it will completely last. Right now, you cannot tackle someone and use your weight of your body to bring them down, especially from behind, because they had an influx of injuries that happened last year. And I guess they got together with their buffoonery and decided, well, this is what's happening. Not the fact that it's the doggone turf that's doing it. Come on, NFL. It's the turf. It's the playing fields. That's what's causing the injuries. You don't want to admit that because it's going to cost you millions and millions of dollars. You figure, hey, we'll just get the players to acquiesce. No, it's the terrain. The guys are not. The game was made to play on a field of grass. Okay? So with the other new rule, oh, you folks are going to love this. How many of you love kickoffs? I'm pretty sure all the people that go to football games, what is it called? What is it? Let me give it a ding. What time is kickoff time? Kick off. That means you line the ball up on the 25-yard line and you line 11 men up and you kick the ball up into the air to the other 11 men on the other side of the team. The ball comes down and there's either 1 or 2 to 3 guys in the back of that line that catch the ball and they move it and they advance it forward to their prospective goal line. That's not going to happen next year because this is what they've come up. These geniuses have decided to do this. Okay, they're going to continue from the 35-yard line because they moved it up a couple of years ago. They're going to put the ball on the 30-yard line, 35-yard line. And the receiving team is going to line up on the 40, folks. And at least 9 members. Okay, we got some algebra going on. 9 members have to line up and they cannot move until the ball has actually dropped. The ball has to, this is almost XFL stuff. And then, here we go. Here's where the confusion, no one other than the kicker, folks, can move until the ball hits the ground of the player landing zone. Touchbacks will be marked on the 30-yard line. Okay, everybody, these games are, boy, you talking about, it's going to be some high-scoring games in these games next year. Okay, it's good. Look for 50 and 60 points, folks, because of just this kickoff. Okay, then in the event the team wants to do an onside kick, here's the crazy. You know how, folks, how when a team gets the ball and they usher in and they are excited because they've just tied the game and now they're trying to either win the game or come back or send in the overtime. They do what's called an onside kick. That's where you line your players up on the 35-yard line and yes, that's true. They cannot move until the kicker kicks the ball and moves it at least 10 yards. And your job is to try and retain that football, repercute it yourself, your team, or either knock the crap out of one of those guys that's trying to get it and get the ball. Nope, that's not going to happen more. Okay? They're going to do now there's no surprise onside kicks will be allowed. It's changing the game, folks. And in the words of Stink, Mark Schlereth said, man, football is getting to the point where we might as well just strap on a belt and put some flags on. Folks, let me know what you think about this new rule. Now, here's the good news. Good news is this is on a trial basis. They're going to try this to see how it goes for the 2024-25 season. So hopefully with all the debacles that are getting ready to ensue with this stuff, because you're asking men who are conditionally trained to knock the crap out of each other to now start dilly-dallying and dancing and switching and having to make the distinct notion, wait a minute, I can't tackle him like this. Oh, wait a minute, we can move until the ball bounces. What? That's really, really asking too much of these gentlemen, okay? Really and truly. And also, it's going to take the excitement away from the fans. And that's what makes the NFL. Let me know what you folks think about that, all right? I I'm pretty sure you can tell by the tone from me. I'm not too happy about it. I know I wouldn't want to play in the league now. I definitely wouldn't. There's too many things to have to think about. Okay, too many that are unnecessary things. I know you're trying to make the game safe, folks. NFLPA, get it together. Let's really get to the root and the crux of the real problem as to why these things are happening, why these egregious, these of course, quote unquote, accidents, injuries are happening. Get it together. With that said, we're gonna go to the. I gotta give another ding. Hey y'all. Best thing I've seen this past. Sophia Smith. Woo-hoo! Get your bag. Young lady, Sophia Smith became the highest paid soccer women's player. National World Soccer League for women. She became the highest paid. For the 2 years, she just signed a 2-year Portland. I don't even know what the actual money is, but it's a lot. Okay? It's a lot. Because, of course, like I told you folks, soccer is the most popular sport in the world. It's the most widely played. And now it's permeating over into America too. And now we got a sister that's actually making that bag, making that cheese, getting that cheddar. And we are proud of her. And we just want to actually give her kudos. Congratulations with that, Sophia. We look forward to actually catching you on the MLS stations. Folks, soccer is fun to go. If you ever get a chance to go to a game, it's much more exciting. And we're going to talk about hockey. Hockey is starting to get it. Remember, I told you I cover all the bases. We're going to start talking about hockey next week. Next time I show up, we're going to have some hockey stuff. Because I'm telling you, if you ladies, and I'm speaking to you, if you've never been to a hockey game, I've never gone to a hockey game with a young lady and she did not say, I want to go back. That was fun. Okay? It is so much, the television slows the game down. When you get to see it in person, it is something to behold. All right? And with that said, folks, I want to thank you guys for tuning in this time. And, hey, remember what I told you. Vote, 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 vote. Rock the vote. Go vote, not because you think that you're going to make a difference. You vote because you are the difference. And with that said, I bid you guys a great week. Catch all these games that are coming on. March Madness, we're going to talk about it next week because next week we'll be talking about the Elite Eight on the road to the Final Four. When I write, folks, when I know, you always know better. And you guys have a great week and love yourselves and love somebody. Hello, and thank you for watching Bases Are Loaded. This show is brought to you by Hot and Saucy, flavor over heat.